What's up? What's up? This audio probably isn't going to be the best on this one. We'll see how well y'all can hear me. Headed from Madrid now. Headed out to on Instagram. It's super early right now in the U.S., so not really thinking we'll get not thinking we'll get too many. We got a couple folks in here, but I know it's like 7 a.m. or so, at least Eastern, and then super early on the West Coast back in the U.S. But wanted to do a quick live. Wanted to tackle an awesome question from my man Darren, who's a part of Patreon, and announced that any of the Patreon members after the second month, you're going to get the book free. So you'll get Infinite Returns, the book. So it's kind of exclusive access right now. If you remain a member of Patreon for basically in the third month, you'll get the book free. So after 2 months, you'll get that free. All right, got a few folks get in here. We got Gabriel, legend. Love that profile pic, brother. That is a great fit you got on, man. He says, hey, thanks for popping in. I appreciate that. John says, hey, Ace, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. Feel free to put any questions y'all got. We'll get to Gabriel's question. I'm sorry, not Gabriel. We'll get to Darren's question. Darren says, how's it going? Gabriel says, how's it going? Keno says, hi, Ace. Thank y'all for popping in. All right. So, got a question from if y'all didn't get a chance to check out the live I did with Curtis, the CEO of Dealmakers. Really great live. He dropped some amazing gems. I mean, he's closed, had months where he closed 4 and 5 deals. I'm just like, every time I turn around, he's been on a roll. And I think that's one of the beautiful things. If you're doing deals where, the main goal is finding the very best business, it makes it a lot easier. Right now I'm really specific on the types of deals that I'm posting. I'm doing a lot of franchise related things because of Fiji. We've got some specific things, but when you can just go out into the market and get the very best deal, it's why we have that strategy. In some cases, a lot of people ask, like, what industries are we focused on the private equity side of things? And the truth is, like, for most of those funds, you really just want to focus on what has the very best return. Because going too deep into any specific type of industry will end up limiting you. And the real goal, all investors care about is, hey, are you going to give me a great return? I don't know why. Oh, for some reason the video turned off over here. Let's see. Cool. But yeah, so check that out if you haven't already. Curtis did an amazing job. So Darren's question came from that. He basically was asking about doing the types of strategies that we were talking about on that call if you are doing the deal with a sole proprietor. So Darren asks, thanks for doing what you do. I certainly appreciate that, man. It really helps the deal making community as well as seeing someone who looks like us doing it at a high level. Definitely appreciate that. The interviews with Curtis and Andrew, and I didn't mention Andrew, but check out Andrew's as well. Need to sign up for it. DMI Pronto. The breakdown of ACE fits way better than I did. So he's talking about the name of the group, the name of the Patreon is Assets, Cash Flow, and Equity Wealth Club. But he had a really great breakdown using the acronym from Adidas. All right, so he says, could any of what you spoke about with Curtis apply to soul props? I'm noticing a bunch of offline 20 to 50-year-old businesses for sale that are soul props. And that's exactly what we're saying. Like, there's just so many deals. You know, some of the deals that even Curtis was talking about, those are things that, you know, just weren't on the market just a few years ago, and now they're coming in droves. And, you know, you've got businesses that have been in business for longer than I've been alive. So 40, 50 years. But in a lot of cases, those are soul props. So one of the strategies he's referring to is we talk about, you know, taking over a business's debt. And so, you know, if they have debt that they've gone out and gotten, especially if there's not a personal guarantee, you know, we're doing a deal right now where somebody got approved for some bank lending. We actually went back to that person and told them to increase the amount that they had access to so that they could take that cash out instead of a down payment. Now, the question becomes, how do you do that if they don't have an entity, if they just own the business themselves, which is also something that none of you should ever do. So one of the beautiful things about all this is when you get into the space, you see a lot of people making a ton of mistakes that make a ton of money, which, you know, that there's also a lot to be said for just going out there and making moves as opposed to trying to be perfect. But you shouldn't be doing anything if you're one of my subscribers without having an entity, an S corp or an LLC. But you're going to come across deals where that person's just a sole prop and they don't have an entity, which means that if they have any debt, it's just all their personal debt. So typically you're going to have to, in most cases, you're going to have somebody who, you know, their personal guarantee is just in their name. They're going to want you to pay it off. But I have had deals, and we'll talk about how do you get around that. So one of the ways is just building a really great relationship and really great rapport. So the first thing is they have to trust you because they have to trust that you're going to make those payments. And, you know, structurally, you can do a wraparound, so you can't assume those from the bank. You know, if you go in there, you could just apply for a new loan. It's not going to be assumable like a lot of corporate debt could be. If you take over that entity, you know, it's not even assumed. You know, in a lot of cases, even when we're doing these deals within the fund, we're buying the equity of that entity. So we're not just buying the assets from that entity. We're taking over the actual entity, and so whatever debts in place or liabilities, we can just take those over. If it's a sole prop, you can't do that. You've got to go in there and apply for a whole new loan. So if you can build enough trust and you can get that owner to feel like, okay, yes, I feel like you're going to take care of, you know, these payments, you're going to be on time, I'm not going to have to chase you for the money, blah, blah, blah. And that's one of the reasons I think building a good reputation is valuable, or having something like a fund. Like if you're in a fund structure, that business owner is going to feel like, okay, like, you know, you're serious. This isn't just some fly-by-night thing. So that's the first part. Then structurally, you'll do a wraparound loan, essentially. So basically what you'll have is a note between you and that owner that, you know, at least pays that minimum amount of whatever the loan is that they have in place. In some cases, you may pay them a little bit more because, you know, it's a benefit to you. You don't have to go out and get that loan on your entity. You don't have to go out and get that in your personal name or sign a personal guarantee. So I would pay them a little bit more depending on how you structure the deal. So that's one way to do it, is build trust and then create a wraparound structure. The other way is to really just put enough of a down payment down that they feel like, all right, even if I do have to take this business back, I'm in a good position. So you're really kind of putting the ball in their court. You're allowing them to have a little more leverage to make them feel comfortable that you are going to pay the rest of it. So you may not be able to, in that case, get a no money down. But the key isn't trying to get no money down necessarily. It's figuring out where you can get the money from. So if you have investors or you go out and you get a separate loan, now your LTV is going to be really low. Your debt to income is going to be really low because you're just borrowing the down payment amount and you're taking over the rest of their loan. So you bring them a chunk of cash and say, regardless of trust, I'm putting this money up that puts you in a position that if I didn't pay and you do have to deal with the headache of coming in and taking over that loan or whatever and taking the business back, you have been well compensated for that, and then that person can go out and sell that business again. Now, the final thing, and something that I think is can be neat if you've got multiple businesses, is double collateralization. Because all we're trying to do, you either have to build trust, you have to bring enough down that they feel like, okay, this LTV is really, really low. And so if I do have the headache of taking the business back, I'm okay. And I'm okay with keeping this loan in my name. But the third is you can over collateralize. So instead of paying any money down or having to spend that time building trust, you say, hey, I have this other asset, or I have, in a lot of cases for us, we do this with businesses. I have this other business that has a bunch of equity and it's very valuable. It's making money. Instead of me paying you a large down payment, instead of me doing anything else, I'm going to give you collateral in my other business, allow you so you'll basically have a lien against both businesses. So it really, again, puts the onus on me to perform. So I'm coming in, I'm not going to put any money down, but I am going to give you this additional collateral that if anything does happen, you can essentially come and take both pieces of collateral. Obviously, you want to be confident that you're going to be able to make the deal work if you do that. All right, let's take a few questions and then I'm going to go figure out the deal with my flight. Oh, before I get into these, be sure if you're interested in finding deals, we get a lot of off-market deals that we don't do. So, while I was talking to Andrew about the deals we're doing, talking to Curtis on his live about the deals that we're doing, for every deal that we actually close, we start out with looking at 100 deals. We narrow that down to 20. That actually look legitimate. Then we make offers on 10 in order to get one. And it doesn't mean that, and especially in that final 10, doesn't mean that those other deals aren't a good deal or could be a good deal for somebody else. It just means it wasn't the right deal for us. So, if you want to get on the deal list, be sure that you send that text to the 585 number. Just send deals and we'll get you added to the list. The next kind of deal list will go out, I guess, April 1st. So next month here in a couple weeks. So that just goes out once a month. It's not like we're going to blow up your text messaging, which I know some people do that, but you can ask anybody who's on the list. If anything, they're like, hey, send more. So we won't blow you up for sure. All right, where were we? All right, so we got Kino says, hi, Ace. John asks, how do you find operators for business, ensure that they stay in the business? It's, that's probably one of the most difficult things. It's one of the reasons that we started the private equity fund incubator is I'm not so much looking for operators anymore. Just you live, you learn, you grow. I don't want somebody who's trying to get into the business and just do it for forever, because it's not going to last forever. There's not going to keep that same momentum forever. And so, one of the reasons that if we are we're not really looking for, we're looking for private equity fund managers, because we're going to just get into that business. We're going to be in it for a short period of time. We're going to make some changes, improve the valuation, and then exit. So it's just it's still operators, but it's a different kind of operator. It's very focused on let's acquire this business and let's exit this business within a set period of time. But if I were looking for operators, one of the little tricks that we've used in the past is joining groups that are in the business that or industry that you're in. So if it's a like e-commerce business, what I would do is join a e-commerce course, and in that course, there are going to be people that are trying to start that business from scratch. And if they seem like they have talent, they're really aggressive and going through the course, asking questions, all of that. Then you can give them the opportunity and just say, hey, like I'm buying a business in this space. How would you like to have equity in something that's already working, rather than trying to start from scratch? But so if I were going after operators, that's what I do. And back when we were going after operators, that's really what we did. I think there's some difference in mentality as well when you when we're doing the private equity fund type of thing. I think when people are coming in and they're trying to create a really great ROI for their fund, there's a different level of motivation. One of the toughest things with operators is keeping them motivated long term. Cool. All right, Joseph, thanks for popping in, coming over from LinkedIn. Natasha, what is up? Says Grand Rising King. I certainly appreciate you. Kino asks, Ace, are you talking about brick and mortar franchise deals or online franchise deals? Brick and mortar. So we're doing a lot of brick and mortar. We're trying to close on 6 units of one concept right now. We've got 7 units of another concept that we just got a lead on. So I'm just a very big fan of franchises. I think and then just get that combination. If you can buy an existing franchise, you have that corporate backing, you've got the brand, you've got the system, but it's also already operating, which makes everything a lot easier to get done. Darius says, what up, Ace? Thanks for popping in, sir. That's Angelo. What's up, man? Angelo says, hey, it's great to see you in Europe. Are you passing from Lisbon anytime soon? I'll be there next week. I am headed there now. So I'm in Madrid. I'm headed to Lisbon right now. Let me know what day you get in. And I don't know how long I'll still be there, if I'll be there next week or not. But yeah, would absolutely love to connect. I got some amazing friends there. So yeah, great, grab coffee or something. Definitely hit me. So yes, that's hilarious you asked that. I'm literally about to leave right now because we should be boarding soon. I'm headed off to Lisbon. Jay's a part of our good merger. I'm representing Jay. Let's see if I can take this off. Jay's a part of our good merger team. He says MCA. It's a little inside joke from our group chat in the good merger group. Natasha asked a great question. What's the cheapest deal I've bought? I won't say online, because I've bought online businesses where we're just buying assets, like they have a database or have social media accounts or whatever, and those can be as thousands of dollars. The cheapest offline business probably was one of the tanning salons that we did when we were doing that roll up. And I may have bought one in the teens of thousands. We had somebody who was very motivated. I'm trying to remember the exact price, but 20,000, I think was what we got that for. And we were really getting the assets out of that, which were the tanning beds and all that, and spreading it out to some of the other salons. So you can get definitely some cheap deals. Curtis Davis says, good deal. Thanks for popping in. Yes, that was a fixed row. All right, we'll end it. I'm gonna bounce out. Thank you all for popping in. Sorry I didn't give y'all any attention over on this side. Yes, and the video was choppy. Just go over to YouTube. So it did, I think, work on YouTube. But yeah, the connection was super choppy. Oh, you know what? It's because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi on Instagram. Sorry about that. Check it out on YouTube. It did work over there. It'll be up. I probably won't make this one Patreon exclusive. So feel free to check that out. All right. See y'all. And that. And y'all have a productive day. Let's